Simplicity, hospitality, and community. This is their way of life. Welcome to Toisan, the villages where my family heritage is from. It has always been a dream of mine to visit the villages. I actually went back when I was like 5 years old, but I don't remember a single thing. Now that my brain is fully developed, hopefully it's fully developed. I'm 25 right now. Yeah, it's always been an idea to witness with my own eyes where my parents grew up, the house they lived in, what they did on a day-to-day basis, and overall what their way of life was like. Growing up as an American-born Chinese, I always knew that there was a huge difference between the language, the culture, the tradition, the beliefs, the way of thinking between me and my parents, and hearing all of their stories about their childhood, about their past experiences, how life was back in China from my parents, from my grandparents, from my other family members. I was always intrigued. I was always asking them more and more and more questions about how life was like and what made them who they are today. And I knew that whenever I had the resources, whenever that opportunity came, I had to witness it with my own eyes. Fast forward 20 years, 2024, it became a reality. It's funny because it all worked out perfect timing. There was 100-year anniversary for my father's elementary school. 100-year anniversary. My father was talking about it like a couple months back, and me and my sister looked at each other. And from that second on, we knew we had to make it happen. We had to capitalize on that opportunity. Throughout my time out in Toisan, there were three main things that really came to mind for me. Three major realizations. First things first, the power of networking and having community. No one out in Toisan is doing things on their own. Everyone knows each other. They know people down the block, people down the streets. My dad went back for the first time in 20 years, and all of his past neighbors still recognize him. They still know him, which is fucking wild. And that 100-year anniversary celebration, it happened because the alumni from that school came together to put this whole thing together. During that celebration, not only was I able to see what the school looked like that my pops went to, but we had a parade from that school all around the entire village, which was perfect timing because we were able to see what it all looked like. The village, the location, all of it. And during our time out there, if it wasn't for networking and community, we wouldn't be able to know how to get around. Like there's no train or transportation that brings you to the villages. But my mom's classmates from when she was in her teens still lives out there, and he was the one bringing us all around. If it wasn't for people, if it wasn't for community, if it wasn't for networking, none of this would have been possible. Secondly, don't be so quick to judge. I used to be someone who would judge my parents super hard, especially with the differences that we had. Our language, our beliefs, our way of thinking, our culture, our traditions, all of it. But during my time out there, I realized that I'm only judging my own people. Like if it wasn't for my parents immigrating here to the US, I would have been one of them. I would be in the villages right now. Not knowing a lick of English, I would probably be a farmer till this very day. And I would literally be one of those people that lives in Toisan right now. No need to judge. I was having tons of conversations with people out there. And despite not having the education, despite not having the knowledge, the experience that I'm able to have in the US, I still learned so much from these individuals. And lastly, we're all human. No matter the cards that you were dealt, where you come from, or the resources that you have. No one is better than anyone. You might have more resources, you might have more education, you might have more experience around certain things, but no one is better than anyone. This is a realization gets more clear as I get older for me. When we take all of these experiences and materialistic things away, we are all left as a human being that has certain needs that has to be met. Food, water, shelter, you need to breathe. You can be the president, you can be a celebrity, you can be someone that is homeless. We all have certain basic needs that has to be met. With every single interaction that I had during my time out there, whether that was with a family member, a family friend, a neighbor, they made sure that my basic needs were met. Food, water, shelter, and that was strange for me, especially coming from the United States. It's kind of sad that we don't really have that type of hospitality here in the United States. This trip was definitely eye-opening. Definitely gave me a ton of perspective. And if you come from an immigrant family, I highly recommend, if you have the opportunity and the resources to be able to do so, to go back to see how their way of life was. You get to learn so much. You get to look at your life from a different perspective as well. To all my Toisan people out there, this trip definitely gave me a different level of respect for y'all. And I've never felt disconnected to my people before.
没有人可以去等待，不知不觉地放开你，我们都没有那勇气 ，baby。I'm sorry, I'm so lonely，我们都没有错与对。